In December 1996, the general manager of an NBA franchise fired the head coach. Then he hired himself.
I'm honored to have the opportunity to accept this challenge and work with the Spurs.
Set his own salary, negotiated against nobody, and nobody stopped him. 29 years later, that franchise is worth $3.85 billion. He was paid $200 million of it. We pulled the contracts, we read every line. What's in them explains everything wrong with how professional sports compensates the people who actually build the value, and it's completely legal. Here's what makes this different from every other coaching story you've ever heard. He didn't just hire himself, he never stopped being the GM. The same man who controlled player salaries controlled his own. For 26 years, the contract structure he agreed to that day is still the model the league uses. And it all gets renegotiated on one specific date. We'll get to that date before this video ends. December 10th, 1996, the San Antonio Spurs are 3-15, dead last in the Western Conference. Their franchise player, David Robinson, MVP, two-time Olympic gold medalist, has a broken foot.
Here is Miguel Knight on the dribble, throws it up to Rodman, Dennis holds it out, starts the drive, give it to David, grabbed by Ellis, double team by Wood, takes the jumper, yes! 71 for David Robinson.
The head coach, Bob Hill, gets fired after 18 games. The general manager steps in to name the replacement. The general manager named himself. There was no search, no interviews, no competing offers evaluated, no outside market comparison. The man who controlled the budget set his own salary. The man who negotiated player contracts negotiated his own.
And the only guarantee I'll make is that I'll work with every fiber of my body to make the situation more successful than it already is.
In any other industry, that's called a conflict of interest. Well, except maybe in Washington politics. In the NBA, it's called an organizational decision. We pulled the structure of NBA coaching contracts. There is no league mechanism requiring an ownership group to conduct a competitive search before appointing a coach. No rule mandating salary be benchmarked against market rate. No disclosure requirement. An owner can pay a coach whatever they negotiate. And when the coach is also the GM, he negotiates with himself. 6 months after Popovich hired himself, the lottery ball dropped. San Antonio won.
The Spurs snap a 4-game losing skid, and Gregg Popovich gets his first victory as an NBA head coach. The final 106-105 as McLeod's off-balance shot does not.
Tim Duncan, first overall pick, Wake Forest University. Duncan signed for $3.4 million a year. Popovich was earning $2 million a year to coach him. The man who would build the greatest sustained dynasty in NBA history was making less than his own first-round pick. Nobody questioned it, because nobody had to disclose it.
With the first pick in the 1997 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Tim Duncan from Wake Forest University.
They are on their feet here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
The San Antonio Spurs hoist the championship trophy. Tim Duncan holds the MVP trophy aloft.
Okay, stop. Before we go further, understand what Popovich was actually building. 1999 NBA champions.
The San Antonio Spurs have won their first NBA championship.
2003 NBA champions.
The San Antonio Spurs are your world champions.
2005 NBA champions. 2007 NBA champions.
Fans of San Antonio, here's the trophy.
2014 NBA champions.
And to the San Antonio Spurs, you showed the world how beautiful this game is.
5 titles, 1,422 wins, the most in NBA history. 22 consecutive playoff appearances, an NBA record that still stands. a winning record against every single team in the league, the longest tenure of any coach in all major American professional sports. Now look at what ownership paid for all of it. 1996 to 2003, approximately $2 million per year. 2003 to 2010, approximately $5 million per year. 2010 to 2018, climbing toward $8 million. 2018 to 2023, $8 million per year. 2023 final contract, $16 million per year. $200 million. 29 years, 5 championships. Now, look at what he generated. 1996 franchise value, $130 million. 1999, first championship, $285 million. 2003, second championship, $398 million. 2014, fifth championship, $900 million. 2025, Popovich retires, $3.85 billion. $3,720 million. That's how much franchise value was created during Popovich's tenure. Stop. Look at this number. 5.4 cents. On every dollar of value he created, Gregg Popovich took home 5.4 cents. The most successful coach in the history of professional basketball. 5.4 cents. Keep that number in your head, because what happened next makes it worse. June 2023, the Detroit Pistons need a head coach. They signed Monty Williams. 6 years, $78.5 million. $13 million a year.
He set a new level of pay for head coaches. His deal with the Pistons, 6 years, worth $78.5 million. Plus, there are option years and incentives that could push the whole thing over $100 million. The largest deal for an NBA head coach. We've got highlights of Williams.
Monty Williams had never won an NBA championship. He had one conference finals appearance. He was, by every measurable standard, a good coach. Not a great one. The market finally had a data point. And 1 month later, Gregg Popovich signed a new contract.
Why Gregg Popovich will be staying in town. According to ESPN right now, $80 million plus will make him the highest paid head coach in the league, and understandably so.
And that should put to bed the question that we've been dealing with every year for the last few years. Is he going to retire? Is he going to retire?
Yes.
Well, I mean, he can quit whenever he wants.
I was going to say, of course, this means he's going to retire next year now.
5 years, $80 million, $16 million a year. For the first time in 26 years, the market got to weigh in on what Gregg Popovich was worth. It took 1 month. His salary doubled. What was he worth in 1999? What was he worth in 2003? What was he worth in 2005? What was he worth in 2007? What was he worth in 2014? We'll never know, because the market never got to decide. The GM did, and the GM was him. Here's what this isn't. This isn't about whether Gregg Popovich deserved more. He deserved everything he got and more. This is about the structure that made it possible to pay the most successful coach in NBA history 5.4 cents on every dollar of value he created, for 26 of his 29 years without a single public disclosure, without a single conflict of interest investigation, without a single question from the league. The same structure that governed the Tim Duncan rookie contract. The same structure that governed the 1997 draft lottery. The same structure that allowed ownership to buy a dynasty for $0 and watch it appreciate to $3,850 million. The same structure in place right now, governing every coach, every GM, every front office decision being made today. That date we mentioned at the start of the video, December 31st, 2029, that's when the current collective bargaining agreement expires.
What happens if they cannot reach a deal this week? Take a listen to what he had to say.
If we don't have a deal by this Friday night and nothing else were to happen, yes, it would be our intention to opt out of the current deal. It doesn't therefore mean, though, that the deal will sunset at the end of June, because we will still have, essentially, we'll still have April, May, and June to negotiate a collective bargaining agreement. I still think it would be a lost opportunity in this window.
Every rookie scale contract. Every salary cap mechanism, every rule the NBA has built to govern how value gets distributed and who gets to keep it. All of it gets renegotiated on that date. Ownership knows what happened in 1996. They know what Popovich built. They know what they kept. And they are not walking into that negotiation without understanding exactly how the last structure worked. The question isn't whether the system underpaid the most valuable coach in NBA history. The math already answered that. The question is who's getting 5.4 cents right now, and whether they know it. Episode 3 of the Spurs arc answers that, because the next person who got 5.4 cents didn't stay quiet about it.